Good morning, everyone, and welcome to Duckzorly Gaming. I say good morning. It's good morning, good evening, good afternoon, wherever you are in the world. We are here on Farming Simulator 19. We are actually on Ravenport, and today we are going to have a bit of a look at the terrain editing tool that is coming in the next patch from Giants, patch 1.2. We'll be coming in patch 1.3, I believe, officially for the dedicated servers. However, we've got a bit of stuff to showcase today, and I thought we'd just do that. Now, g'day to JJ and Jerry, our wonderful Grizzly Bear Sims. How are you this morning? Fabio, welcome to the stream, my friend. One thing I do want to point out straight off the bat, this is part of the beta branch of the Steam build of Farming Simulator 19. Now, being a beta, it is subject to change, it is subject to break, it can possibly break your save games, all that sort of stuff. If you are using the 1.2 beta patch, the same as it has been all the way along, including Farming Simulator 17 and all that, it will not be available to use on your dedicated server unless they've been updated to the 1.2 beta as well, which most of them won't be doing unless you're running your own dedicated server. So don't even bother with that. And I would strongly recommend you don't do it on a multiplayer game anyway, because you could well and truly corrupt your save game for others. Anyway, Chris Webb, welcome to the stream. We're going to get started in a second. Basically, the plan is we're going to showcase the features of it, have a look at what the real aspects of it are going forward. I'm going to touch on a couple of things that are still missing. I know they are still working on a couple of things in relation to this, which is great. But I had a bit of a play with it just a while ago, and I think it's a great improvement, certainly something that we need, and I thought we'd just try and showcase it a little bit now. We'll certainly do our best to showcase it as best we can, and we'll go from there. All right, now Chris Webb's in the house. Hello, Socks, how are you? Colin's in the house. G'day, Colin. All right, so I give you a warning, guys, with Jerry in the house, he has got the big band hammer too. So we are good to go. Yes, JJ, I have very good news. In this patch, they have fixed the Big M. So the default Giants Big M 450 is now able to be refueled, so you don't have to go out and buy a new Big M every time you run out of fuel. But for those of you that follow my channel, you would know that the Stevie modded version of that was fixed very quickly, and that's the one we have been using. All right. Let's get into this. Right, so where are we? We're on Ravenport, as I said before. I'll bring up the map. Now, I'm not down in the starting area. I'm actually going to start over here in the northern aspect of the map. Reason being is in the multiplayer server that we run, this is actually where I've created a farm. So I'm just going to showcase some things I know that terrain's going to do here and show how we can fix that. Now, if you have any questions, please ask. I'll do my best to answer them and showcase aspects of it that we can. But we'll just go along. We are still learning it a little bit ourselves, so let's get into it. All right. Now, if I go over here, one of the big problems we've got, as you know, with the placeables as it currently is in the 1.13 branch, I think it is if we were to place a placeable, it deforms the terrain around it and all that sort of stuff. So let's go in. Oh, didn't want to show that yet. Let's go in here and let's place a placeable. So let's grab, what I'm going to do is going to grab one of these lovely sheds that are from Vertex Designs. Now, we'll bring that over here. Now, when we come over through and we've got a little bit of terrain. Oh, I don't own that part. All right, let's get technical. We come over here and we're just going to place it close as we can to this edge. Okay. All right. So we've placed our shed. Now, it needs level ground, obviously, to place a shed, which is fine. So what it does is then deforms the terrain around it and does things like this. So we have this very sharp bit of terrain. Now, that's not necessarily fantastic. And if we also wanted to put a placeable over on this area here, now this looks fairly level. It's quite deceiving. It's actually not. And then if we wanted to put something over here, so for instance, we take the hayloft. I don't know why I ran all the way over there. I didn't need to. And let me just buy this block as well here. All right, then I can place it where I want to. Go back into placeables. Go back into here, hayloft. All right, and we want to put this here. Okay, we get all this. So obviously driving up a tractor, you've got to go up a fairly steep incline here, and you've got to drop off a steep drop into it and all that sort of stuff. And it's not really very nice. It's not very practical. So this is what the train editing tool is built for. Now let's have a look. So train editing tool. It took me a while to find out where it was. I couldn't think of where it was, but it's in the shop. So we go to our shop, and over here now, when the patch comes out, you'll have the landscaping. So you'll click on that and then go start landscaping. Now there's two main functions of the train editor. There is the sculpting and the painting. They are separate entities insofar as the tool is concerned. And to switch between those, you use the X key. So at the moment we're in sculpting, as you can see up here in the top middle of the screen. The sculpting is the nice orange color. If we press the X button, we go to the painting. Now the painting tool is quite simply just for painting different textures. In the bottom right hand side of the screen at the moment, you can see we've got this ground type texture there. And what we can do is we can just go and paint that texture anywhere we like. Okay. I can then change that texture as well, simply by pressing the tab, and then I get a new texture. Okay. Now I can come into any of the fields, and I can also repaint on the field. Okay, so we're not limited there. Over here, where all this deformation is, I can come in here and I can change all this as well. All right, so it's very good. Can't change the rock, but that's okay. There you go. So it's nice and seamless. I mean, the tree still stays there. It goes all around the tree, goes all around the edges of the rock. So you can make it nice and neat, all that sort of stuff. Now, the tool itself, obviously we've got the tool in the round tool set at the moment. I can also change that to be the square. So I can change modification shape, so I can do square. Now, inherently behind the background of Giant's FS19, everything's in a grid pattern. I mean, basically most of you should know that. Those of you that do map editing know that. Hey VF, oh yeah, I'm having some fun. Making this look really bad, but anyway, welcome to the stream. So yeah, so everything's in a grid. So if you want to place a very strict laid out farm, you have the ability to. So we can drag all that out here, and we can put it through. We can just bring that out. We can then, what was the other one I was going to do? I change the radius. So with the left and right arrow keys, I can change the radius of this. So that's the biggest it goes, but we can put down a nice big chunk, and we can actually start covering in the land nice and quickly, but we can make it very uniform. So there we've put down a very nice rectangular pad. So then what we can do is we can go back into our store. Whoops, wrong keys. And we can grab a shed, and we can put a shed down on it, and it will change its it will change over there. It will change the ground texture below it to what the placeables has. Now, one thing I haven't checked yet, and I'm going to check that right now, is we're going to see if we can change that texture now that comes in the placeable. I don't think we'll be able to, but let's have a look. So back into our landscaping tool. The ground type, we want to change that. So I'm going to change that back to get there. Okay, let's bring our modification down a bit, and let's see how we go. And there we go, it does. So that is great. Okay, so now we can make it seamless in the fact that even though the placeable has its own ground texture assigned to it, we can actually make the ground all the same. So if you want to set up your own little farm area, like we're doing here, like we're way away from all the predefined areas, we can actually go in and change all this so it's actually seamless. And that is great. That is really, really nice. Okay. So that's one of the real great features of this thus far. Now, remember, this is just the painting aspect to it. So the other part is, I mean, obviously we can change our tool back again, and we can tab to another texture, and we can go to the small, and we can put little bits of texture in as well, so we can do all that. If we then wanted to have a path, so I want to bring a path out here to go to the shed, I just make my my tool a little bit bigger. I'm going to choose the texture I want. So we're going to go to gravel, which is what I skipped past. Right. And then we can just draw that in. Nice and simply. We can touch it up as we need to, whatever else. And there you go. Right, so we've done a path. Now, as I said, I did say, and I was very critical of Giants when it first came out, this needed to be part of the launch. Now, obviously, I would say what's happened is they just didn't have time to finesse it and complete it. But now we've got it. And I mean, this is looking great. I mean, it's the sort of tools we want. So there you go. I reckon that's really, really nice. Very poor placement by my behalf, but hey, it works. All right. So that's the painting side of it. Now, let's have a look. I'll just show you all the different textures. We'll go up here and we'll just have a look at all the different textures. Just so you can see them. I'll do it on this field, wreck the field. All right, so we have this gravelly texture. Then we have I don't know, it's like a rocky texture. Then we have another, like a slate one. Like a sand. So we've got plenty of textures to play with, which is always good. Now, there isn't a water texture, so there's no way of putting water down, which I'm not surprised at, so to be honest. There you go. And that one. And a grass. And a mud with a bit of grass, or dirt with a bit of grass. Mowed grass. And then back to the gravel again. Right, so there's the textures you've got. Okay, so you've got a nice big varied texture palette to use. Now, I would say that that's possibly going to be extended in the future. You may be able to add extra textures in. I don't know. I mean, there are people that are far better than me. So, for instance, Nathan6930, who's just joined us. G'day, Nathan. We may well be able to add our own textures and all that sort of stuff later on. All right. So that's pretty much covered the terrain texturing tool. Be aware that too, while using the terrain extra tool, the controls are, as it says over here, it's the A, S, D, and W keys for left, right, up, and down. To rotate is the Q and E key. So they've used pretty much common controls that you have in most other games in relation to turning all that sort of stuff. Primarily because the left and right cursor keys are now used for the terrain size or radius tool. So yeah. And I'm watching you, Chris Webb. Be very careful. I'll tell everyone why we call you socks. Anyway, so that's that. So let's move on to the sculpting tool. So again, we're going to press X to change mode. So now we're in the sculpting tool. So similar controls as the basis of this. We have the change modification shape is done via the C. So we have the round tool and we have the square tool. Okay. Rotate camera is the same. We've got help text as well, which we haven't looked at. Change the strength. So Control Q and E will change the strength of the brush. Now you look down the bottom right hand side, and which is now obscured by my little YouTube subscription button. The brush strength is actually changing. So at the moment it's 1.2. I'm now bringing it up to 2.3, 2.3. There you go. So you can see that box there is actually increased in its size. So we'll get to actually showing that in a minute. Now, what else was there? There was also the controls with the mouse. So to raise the land, we press our left mouse button. So let's raise the land. There you go. Now it's being accentuated by the fact I've got the strength on very high. So we'll tone that down in a second. In fact, we'll tone it down now. Let's do that now. Tone that back down a bit. There you go. So down to 0.1, which is the lowest. Hey, Rubber Burner, welcome to the stream, my friend. So there we go. So holding the left mouse button down, we're bringing up the texture. Okay. So as you can see, every time I hold the left mouse button down, it will raise my texture where I move the mouse. If I change the tool, same again, it will raise it in the circular pattern with the circular tool or brush. Okay. Now, the next one is lowering. So again, conversely, if I hold the right mouse button down, it will lower. And it lowers it, well, sorry, just pressed the wrong key and just went into something else. What it will do is it will actually lower, it takes the height from where the cursor is. So if I press the lower button from the lower, sorry, if I press the right mouse button, sorry, I just got girls that are starting to make a lot of noise. If I press the right mouse button here, it'll lower it from this level of the ground. So, it's going to make a liar of me. Won't let me lower any lower. What's going on there? What do I do? I changed modes. All right, there you go. Now let's try it again. Sorry. So if I lower it from there, it lowers it from where the mouse pointer is. Okay, so if I was up here, it will lower it from that height there, and that's exactly what it does. That's fantastic. All right, so that's the raise and lower. So that gives you your basic tools. Probably the most important one that I like is the smooth, which we'll get to in a second. But then you've also got the flatten. And this one's really good as well. So we know there's a slope going down here towards the road. Okay, so there's a definite slope down through there. So we want to flatten that. We start here at the edge of the field and we come across. And we're holding our left and our right mouse buttons down. It's just going to flatten that out into a nice flat piece of terrain. So that now is all one nice flat area. You don't have to worry about trying to build up each section individually. You just hold the left and the right mouse button down and just go and paint wherever you want to actually get that level. And that's what you're going to get. So there you go. That's nice and level. Then you can come in and put your texture over. Okay. And then there you have it. Now I could get really arsey and crafty like they did in the Giants preview and put the rock texture down there and then whoops. No, I say artsy and crafty. I'm not artistic in any way, shape or form. You can do that and make it a rock around the side and all that sort of stuff. But you get the meaning, okay? And no, there is no water texture, not as yet. I don't know if there's even going to be one, but anyway, we'll have to wait and see. All right, so moving on, the tool that I do like the most is, as I said before, it's the smooth tool. So we've got this area through here, and this comes into this area here, which I'll get to in a second. But if we hold your mouse wheel down, now obviously this is all applying to the PC. The controls on the PS4, Xbox are going to be different, okay? There you go, VF's answered that one for you, Jerry. So for console guys, as I understand, you will be getting the tool, but the controls will be different, okay? But that's to be expected. All right, so I'm going to hold the mouse wheel down, and now let's have a look and see what happens. As I'm moving around, it's smoothing it out nicely. So I've built my basis of what I want the land to be in that area. Then I can come through and smooth it all out. So when I built my farm here on the multiplayer server, I was actually putting placeables down, then deleting them, putting a placeable down, then deleting it, putting a placeable down, then deleting it, to get all little flat areas aligned to each other. And there were still areas where the terrain was varying. This tool will enable me to go back in and actually go in and smooth all that out. Now, where this applies, as I was saying before, as I was trying to allude to just before, is over here where we put our hayloft. I should now be able to come in here and smooth all this out so as we don't have that really steep incline anymore. So I can just smooth it out like that. And notice it actually smooths down the area from the placeable as well. Okay, so it's actually smoothing that down as well. So all this here gets smoothed down. So now if I was to drive my tractor or my truck up through there, it would be nowhere near as severe. Okay, so that has really lessened that off. Now, I mean, of course, I can also raise it a little bit here. I can do a little bit of raising there like that, sort of bring it up a little bit, and then go through and smooth it again, and try and sort of make the slope a lot more. What's the term I'm looking for? So much of a lower gradient. Yeah, I know I'm ruining grass. I shouldn't be doing it. But yeah, I mean, that gives you the idea of what you can do. So, I mean, the flexibility of this tool that it's going to give you now is fantastic. And kudos to Giants for getting it in there. It's what we need. And that's basically it. So camera zoom, we can zoom right out and we can have a look at the work we've done. So again, if I come back in here, I've got that great big pillar there. If I just want to flatten that down, I just hold that middle mouse button and it starts flattening it all down, smoothing it over. And then you can come through here and smooth all that off. So it's a fantastic tool and I'm really looking forward to actually using this. Now I can confirm, yeah, terrain editing prices, they are expensive, but they're not as expensive as what they apparently were in the first run of this. So it's not too bad. I mean, I started off with 50 million, and apart from the cost of the sheds, I've spent what, just over $1 million. So it's not cheap, but you will have to what's the name? What I can confirm is the terrain editing tool will work on your multiplayer games on your servers live. So you are in the server as an admin, you can actually use this tool to customize your farm. Yeah, of course, VF, it just depends on the size and how much customization you want to do. I mean, the more you do and the more severe you're doing it, like this pillar and that, the more it'll cost. So if I want to raise that a little bit, so just that area there was $500. That's not too bad. If I was to increase the strength, and I've gone all the way up there, that was a few thousand. Okay, it's a bit unrealistic. Although this is where I could place a John Deere, so it's out of the way. But anyway, yeah, it's going to cost you some money. Blending of colours, Jonathan, welcome to the stream, my friend. It sort of does blend, I guess, to a point. I haven't really we'll have a bit of a look-see. I'll just, let me go back into there and I'll just drop that back down again. And we'll go back into the terrain, the painting. We'll change the tool. So if I come in and I actually decrease my radius, and you can see you can sort of blend into a point. It's not too bad. I mean, it's still not going to be perfect. I mean, I'm thinking that the guys that are doing it on GE with their map making are going to do a much better job, particularly than what I'm going to do. But certainly you can blend it into it to a little bit. You can sort of patch it through. I don't know. Like I said, I'm not artistic and I don't claim to be. So it's entirely up to you. Farming man, no mate. This is not so much for doing that. This is just basically for painting the terrain and modifying the terrain. If you want to create and join fields, you're just going to use your plow for that and do that. So it's not part of this tool per se. All right, now that's pretty much the bulk of it. Is there anything anyone else wants to actually particularly see? No, it doesn't actually get rid of the trees, Chris. The trees will stay there. Right, so let's have a look at this. We'll go into increase our radius. So if I was to paint this area through here, it removes the shrubs. Okay, that's not a problem. But you'll see here the trees don't remove. Okay. Or JJ, sorry. Yeah, it will not remove the trees. So let's what we'll do is we'll head back over to the starting area. Oh, come on. Go over here to the spinnery because there's a lot of trees over here. And we'll just run down over here. Well, what we're going to do is we're going to buy this little area through here and we'll see what the terrain editing can do here. Just because we can. Before I do that, I need to go and buy that. So we're going to buy this land here. And that'll do. All right, let's go back into the landscaping tool. Oh, that was a waste of time, wasn't it? All right. Just because we can exactly, Rob. Here we are. Right. Okay. So over here we have all these trees. Okay, so we want to get rid of them with the terrain editing tool. So let's go paint it over, and no, it doesn't do it. Okay, so the terrain editing painting will not get rid of the trees. Now if we change to our sculpting tool, terrain cannot be modified here. You'll notice I can't even get into the tree because the tree is locked. Okay, so I can't modify and remove the trees by using this tool. As much as it would be fantastic, JJ, to do that, I certainly can't do that. But I can come in then and re-smooth all this, which I do like. Let's just so I can make it look nice and smooth as if I haven't been there and done anything. I think this is going to be a great tool. What worries me a little is I certainly hope we don't have people that pretend or want to try and be map makers that take a map, use a terrain editing tool, then try and send it off as a map. It's not really designed to create maps. So yeah, let's hope we don't do that. Yeah, as I showed before, it removes all the shrubs, but it doesn't removes the grass too, unfortunately. But it doesn't remove the trees. Okay. So there you go. So we can remove all the shrubbery. It's a shrubbery. All the shrubbery's gone. And then we can change our texture. Where I'm in the texture tool. And that's it. Out to the road. Even though I don't own it. About as close as we can. There you go. Nice glossy looking mud pan there. All right. If you cut down the tree, well, maybe. I don't know. Well, those trees you can't chop down anyway. I don't think, can you? I haven't tried chopping down many of the trees here, but a lot of the trees on the two default maps are not removable by chopping. So that's not going to help you. Will it firm up the ground when putting down a hard surface on a field so the tractor will not sink down? You can't cut those ones down, Jason? Okay. Well, you'd probably have to cut them down and then do the terrain editing. Jonathan, I can't answer that. I mean, obviously, if we deform the terrain on a field, I guess the next thing is, does that actually just fast forward time? Does that actually grow back through the terrain? I'm assuming it won't. That's not really going to help us. We need to find a field that is growing. So let's just whoops. Let's just do that. Let's find a field that is growing. Let's go over here to field 23. All right. Run over here to 23. We'll do some deformation on this field that's growing. And there you go. So there you go. VF's giving you the answer. VF is our know-it-all. I say that in the most polite way. If you want to know anything about FS19, VF should be the man because he spent so much time with giants and all that sort of stuff. So he's the Bible, the Oracle. Oh, done it again. All right, so obviously it just remembers where it was the last time you edited. Okay, so this is the field that is growing. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to just put that in there. And we'll just, as time's flying by, we'll just see what happens. See if it grows through. I'm assuming it's definitely not going to. Yeah. Yes, Chris, I do know there's definitely 3 trees on this map that I know you can cut down. And I do know that I can plant poplars in front of your shed too. I found that out this morning. So, but anyway, that's not part of this. That's not part of this stream, my friend. It's not part of this stream. Anyway, and the terrain tool doesn't get rid of poplars either. So, yeah, good luck with that. All right. So let's just see how it goes. Unfortunately, I haven't got a fast forwarding mod on here, so we can't sort of fast forward any further. Does anyone have any other questions or anything they want to see? I don't know. Did I, Chris? Hopefully, I've covered it sufficiently, and you've seen everything you need to see. Like I said, if not, ask. VF's here. I mean, he can certainly be able to answer questions that I may not be able to. But I do think that this is a great thing for can you plough that area? Let's have a look. I haven't got any equipment, have I? So let's go quickly buy a tractor. I don't know what you guys are talking about, seriously. It's like you're implying that I'll do all these nasty things. Right, we're going to go off and we're going to check, see if we can plough over that terrain. Now, I'm assuming we should be able to, because it's still technically a defined field. DJ's in the house. G'day, DJ. Well, Chris, you will leave the server unattended. And you do continue to run those JDs. Alright. We'll quickly go over here and just test to make sure we can plough through the terrain. This will be going to darkness. Good timing. There's the answer. It's once you do the editing, doesn't look like. Nothing wrong with sausage fingers. Nothing wrong with sausage fingers. I'm in the sausage fingers club. So there you go, guys. There's your answer. Once you deform the field is then not available. You would have to turn on, I would imagine. You have to allow your field creation to do it. But once you've actually made a modification with the terrain editor, you can't plough it. There you go. Yeah, I don't think I can create field with this though, can I? I have to go get another plough. Yeah. Because it's a cultivator. Grab. All good stuff to know. Another tractor. Alright. So we'll just take this plough down and then we'll see if we can create field. I think this one will allow me to create field. I am reliably informed they are still working on the tool, and the ability to put foliage and shrubs and stuff down is most likely something that will be coming in the in the actual final release of the patch with the terrain editor. So we'll just have to wait and see for that. Adding all that sort of extra detail is something that really is sort of a must. But we'll have to wait and see what Giants do. I would assume that it will be coming, so. Alright, so here we are, we're back here again. Now, we'll allow create fields. And there you go. So we can plough back over it. but obviously you can't cultivate it back over and use it as part of the field quite simply. So the only way you can actually get it back as part of your field is to actually use a plow, put it on allow create fields, and that's the way you do it. Okay, so there you go, that's that one answered. So obviously in the same way, a crop will not, look at that lovely shiny texture. Obviously the crop will not grow through on this patch where we've done that. So so yeah. All right. No, Jonathan, no, I'm not beta testing for Giants. I don't think they'd like me as a beta tester. I'm too picky. In fact, my boss at work doesn't like me doing QA work sometimes because I create more problems than he likes. But anyway, that's another discussion for another day. However, if Giants do want me as a beta tester, I'm more than happy to do it. They'll just get pages of clinical notes and stuff when I do it. Anyway, all right. So that's it. That is the terrain editor coming in the new patch. The beta test, as I said at the start of the stream, is currently available on Steam. You go in and to the properties of Farming Simulator 19 and you select the beta option and you select the 1.3 beta stream, I think it was. You go select that. You can use that. Be aware, I would recommend if you're going to play with it, do it on a new save game. Don't try and apply it to one of your old save games, because when you do revert back to the live common build, you may well not be able to play it for whatever reason. You won't be able to play if you have the beta installed. So currently with this installed on my installation, I can't join my own multiplayer server, but I will be able to roll back from the beta branch to the base build, which will bring me back to that, so that won't be a problem. Okay. So be very aware of that. And as always, as I also did say at the start of the stream, if you are testing or using a beta branch, it is always subject to change, subject to crashes, subject to not operating the right way. Some would argue that's what Farming Simulator 19 is like currently now anyway, but we won't get into that. I'm only joking. But yeah, so do take care. I mean, it's the normal thing when you're using a beta. It's not necessarily going to be fully stable, all that sort of stuff. But I do hope you enjoyed the feature. I hope I certainly covered it off well enough for you to actually all get an idea of how it all works. I think it's a fantastic tool. I'm really looking forward to having it go live, so we can actually modify our farms that little bit better and just sort of make them a little bit more unique. In saying that, I still hope that we get some of the wonderful maps from some of our wonderful modders. I'm really looking forward to receiving some maps from the likes of Stevie, Bullet Bill, hopefully, Oxygen David. Our friend Nathan, who's in here, is working on his own map as well, and I can tell you that he's looking fantastic. So yeah, let's hope we still get the great quality maps coming out from them, but also the options of some maps where we actually can build our own farms and all that sort of stuff. But that's the thing we need next. I agree, Jerry. We need some variation with the maps. I'm already sick and tired of Ravenport. But anyway, that's the way it is. All right. Thanks very much for joining me, Jerry, Jonathan, Virtual Farmer, JJ, Chris. Who else was here? Fabio. Oh, the list is too long. Kiwi Rob, Nathan, Virtual Farmer, of course. Please make sure you go check out Jerry's streams and videos. Make sure you go check out Virtual Farmer. Keep an eye out for Nathan with all his great maps and mods and all that sort of stuff. He does a fantastic job too. I'm really looking forward to this. I'm very glad that Giants have brought it out. I think Farming Simulator 19 eventually will be in the point where we're all going to really enjoy it, and I'm really looking forward to it. Yeah, blending possibly. I mean, like I said, Jonathan, they are still working on it. They're tweaking it out a little bit, so that may well. I know a couple of the guys at Frontier Designs were saying that that's one of the things that's been mentioned. But anyway, again, thanks very much. Thanks, VF. Really appreciate you coming in. I always love you being in here, Mr. Oracle. No worries, Chris. I really enjoyed bringing it to you. So thanks for watching, and we'll see you again very, very soon back here at Duckzorly Gaming. Don't forget to like. Don't forget to subscribe if you're not already a subscriber as well. we'll always take a subscriber. We're on the road to 1,000. I think we're almost about to hit 650 actually, so that'll be a nice little hit. Fabio, thanks mate, not a problem at all. And rest assured, when it actually does go live, we'll also revisit this and actually check out to see what changes have been done. All right, that's it from me. I'm going to go have some breakfast. I'm going to see you all later. Take care. Thanks again for joining us, no matter whether it's morning, afternoon, evening, or night. Make sure you have a wonderful time and look after yourselves and your loved ones. Take care, and we'll see you again very, very soon. See you all later. Bye.